Welcome to today's webinar, Quick Start Your Expense Automation with Nexonia. My name is Kim Fellman. I'm a marketing coordinator at JMT Consulting. I'll be your moderator today, and I'm excited to be hosting this session. This webinar is brought to you by JMT Consulting. We are ERP and financial management solutions specialists for nonprofits, and we have nearly 30 years of experience helping nonprofits with technology and business processes for the back office. This is why we've partnered with Nexonia to bring our clients an expense management solution. We believe they're one of the best expense automation options for a nonprofit to consider for their organization. And we even use the software internally here at JMT because we love it so much. Joining us today is Sandra Gelb, a senior account executive at Nexonia, and Byron Walchuk, Nexonia's partner channel manager. And before I hand it over to them, I have a few housekeeping items to cover. First, today's webinar will be recorded and will be emailed to you for on-demand access along with the slide deck. And next, we would love to hear from you during today's presentation. If you have a question, please feel free to send it through the Q&A tab at the bottom of your control panel. If we can't get to your questions today, we will follow up with you over email, but Sandra is prepared to answer all of your questions today, so don't be shy. And without further ado, I'd like to get us started by welcoming Byron and Sandra from Nexonia. Over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Kimberly, and definitely excited to have everyone on our webinar today. We have an amazing partnership with JMT and just happy to continue and offer our services to clients and potential clients. So to start off, I'm going to give a company background on Nexonia, and then I'll jump into the demonstration of our expense reporting solution. I'll start off showing the mobile application and the web portion and talk about how both worked seamlessly together. So we have, to give a background on Nexonia, we have been serving customers since 2004. We work on all major web browsers, and we work with organizations pretty much all over the world, every size, every industry, and every country. And these are just a few organizations that we do work with. When it comes to our mobile application, we do work on Android, iPhone, and BlackBerry. We do have full offline capability. So even if someone didn't have access to the internet, they can still go ahead, track their expenses, and then everything just syncs in the background once they do have that internet connection. The system is extremely easy to use, so focused on either mobile or web, whatever works best for the end user. They can be completely on mobile, never go to the web. They can do half on the mobile, half on the web, whatever makes it easier for that user and enter in their expenses. Now, one thing that's unique about Nexonia is we offer unlimited expense reports, so people can do as many expense reports as they need to. You are not billed per expense report. It is based on per user. Makes it much easier to budget and more cost effective that way. When it comes to our training and support, training is fully included and unlimited. We have several times per week. People can choose the time that works the best for them and then attend that training session. We also have all kinds of videos and materials that are available as well. When it comes to support, our support is also fully included and unlimited. We do not charge extra for support. Support works either by phone, by email, or we also have a self-service help portal that's available. It has all kinds of guides and information and videos that are easily accessible. Now, I know today we're going to be focusing on our Quick Start Rapid Implementation. For our Quick Start, we can have you up and running as quick as 2 to 3 business days. There is a more limited account, and it is not as configurable as maybe our standard implementation. So we do have options, but if this is something that you need to get up and running quickly, we can work with you on that and get the base of your account set up. You can link your account if you wish to our Emburse cards. They are typically used as a credit card, and cards can be an easy way for you to manage your spend. They're virtual or plastic cards that could be sent over instantly. If you choose and want to use our standard implementation, which is much more configurable, then that does take a little bit longer, typically 4 to 8 weeks for implementation, but it's much more in depth as far as integration with your ERP, flexibility as to what you can configure in the system, and as well, we can do a company paid credit card integration to automate those credit cards that you may have now.
Can I interrupt you for a second, Sandra?
Sure.
If everyone could just mention in the chat or the Q&A if you can hear okay. We had someone mention that they're hearing construction-like noises. If you could just throw it in. Okay, she said everything sounds great to her.
Okay.
It might just be on their end.
Yeah, it's
I can hear you fine, and I don't hear any construction. Sound is good. Sounds okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. I will. Thank you, Sandra. You can continue.
No problem. I want to make sure everybody can hear. So as far as implementation, you would work with an implementation specialist and a project manager. They'd be there to fully guide you, support you in setting up the system. And once everything is ready to go, you'll be ready for your training and your go live. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to show you the system. And as mentioned, I am going to start off on the mobile application, but I will quickly point out, this is the web portion here before we get started, where we can set up your organization's logo and colors, so it does not have to have the Nexonia branding. And you may note that we do have some other modules and solutions that are available. If you ever want to take a look at those, please feel free to let us know. More than happy to walk you through those products. We do have time tracking, as well as purchase orders and payables. As well, in addition, our travel booking solution that integrates with expenses. But main focus today is expense reports. So if you do not have these modules, these tabs will not appear in the top here. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to enable my own iPhone, and everybody should be able to see that now. This is our mobile application. We'll go ahead and start off adding an expense report. And what this does is bring up a default of today's date, but you can retitle this anything that you want. And this is going to act as a folder or a container, if you will, where you can add in all of your different expense line items. And those are out-of-pocket expenses, credit card transactions, if you do have credit card integration, and those can come in an automated feed. And then you can also add in your mileage tracking. So great way to mix and match different types of items on one expense report. In addition, you can mix and match different currencies in case people are traveling out of country. We'll go ahead and add a quick out-of-pocket expense. And when I do that, what's going to happen, it's going to pop up a window here. I can go ahead, and if I wanted to, I can take a picture of a receipt. And I'm going to just tap on that icon, and I'm going to take a picture of a receipt that's sitting on my desk here. And I'm going to use this photo. Now we can, in addition, we can email receipts, we can fax in receipts, and believe it or not, we still have people that fax in receipts. You can scan and upload your receipts, or you can even drag and drop them from your computer. Now we do have OCR scan capability, so it is going to read the items of the date, the amount of the transaction, and vendor information on the receipt. So it can make it super easy for anyone that's entering in their expenses to be able to have all of that automated for them. We do have a lot of flexibility in what you can track against. So we can work with you on these items and what's most important to your organization. We can, track against a full list of customers and projects, or you can make things internal if needed. When it comes to your category list, also completely configurable depending on what you need. And we can set up policies around these items as well, either to flag something to a person's manager as out of policy, or completely prevent the employee from submitting it through. we'll go ahead and pick off this dinner category here. And when I do that, I even have an option of entering a department, or you can make this, an actual defaulted field depending on where the employee's department is located and what's related to that employee. And there's a free field memo text where you can enter in any information or explanation about the expense. Now, I did go through it quite slow, but within 10 seconds, people can take a picture of their receipt, code it against their category, and any other items that they need to track against. Now, when it comes to mileage tracking, so employees have several ways to bring mileage into the system. I'll go ahead and add an item. And when I go to the category dropdown and choose the option of mileage, it will pop up a locations tab for me. The locations tab I can use it in a number of different ways. First of all, we can make this kilometers or miles depending on what you need to track. The employee can say that they did 5 miles. It'll automatically calculate the amount that's reimbursable back to the employee based on the rate that you have set up for that individual or department. Now, when it comes to Google Maps integration, which is really neat and super easy to use, employees can choose if something is round trip, and they can add up to 6 different waypoints of where they're traveling. And they can do that in a number of different ways, either by enabling addresses in their address book, a recently used item. So I'm based actually in Toronto, and what I'll do is I'll show how easy and flexible it is. I'll choose my Toronto office, and maybe I'm going to visit a client. I can, if I wish, enable GPS of where I'm starting and where I'm stopping. Or if I don't want to do that, I can even just enter an intersection of where I'm going or the address of the client or office that I'm going to visit. And we can just generally enter in that information. We don't need to have any zip codes, postal codes, or anything like that. And when I go ahead and save that and generate the map, it's going to automatically calculate from Google Maps the distance that I traveled. It's going to use Google Maps as my receipt. And then when I take a look at it, it even noted that I was a US employee. I was traveling in a different country, so it brought in the daily automated exchange rate and the amount that's converted and reimbursable back to the employee. And all of this within seconds. It did actually prompt me for a project, so if you did want to have customers and projects enabled and you wanted to make that a field that's mandatory for the employee to fill out, in case they forget that, automatically it will remind them. So everything here that we've done on the mobile application is syncing to the web portion in the background. And if I wanted to, I can just go ahead and push through a sync in the background. But as mentioned, it'll do this as well every 5 minutes. So if I wanted to finish off my expense report on the web portion, I can absolutely do so. So if we go ahead and click on the expenses tab here, we'll be able to see all the expense reports that this particular user has in the system, including the one that we just did a few moments ago on the phone. Now, this expense report is still in draft, so the employee is still working on it before they're ready to submit it through for approval. But the employee still has clear indication and can look back and see all of her previous expenses, if needed to look into them, and see their status. So we can clearly see that something's been approved, or if something's still in draft and needs to be worked on a little bit further. We do have role-based security, so employees can see only their own items. You can have any managers, supervisors seeing everybody on their team, and maybe you want to have finance, seeing everyone across the system. So we can work with you as far as hierarchy and what you allow employees to have access to. Let's go ahead and open up this expense report. And when I do that, we'll be able to see the 2 items that we added just recently on the phone. If I wanted to, I can click on the paperclip to see the receipt. Otherwise, I can just say, show me my receipts. It's going to pop up the receipt here. This is the image and the picture that I've just taken. You can see the $17.50 here. I can zoom in and zoom out, and I can always match it against my line item. If I wanted to, I can always hide the receipts, or I can see all the receipts on one tab. So any images, that you've taken from your phone, if you were to scan and upload receipts, email receipts, even if you were faxing in receipts, or dragging and dropping from your computer, they will all appear here. And if you hadn't already linked it to a line item, you can absolutely do it here. Just by choosing the link button, it'll populate the line item that it feels it matches to based on the dollar amount. So it makes it super easy for anyone that needs to track their expenses. A couple more things that I can show you here. This is just an item view, but you can always look at things a week at a glance or even broken out in a summary tab by category. When it comes to adding additional expenses on the web portion, can absolutely do that here. Just click on the Add Expense tab. Again, the customers and the projects is configurable depending on what you need, or we can always just default things to be internal. When it comes to your category list, we'll also work with you on setting these up. And you can have, specific rules around categories as well. So for example, this airfare category doesn't have any mandatory fields, and it doesn't have any tip field or attendee field as an example. But the minute that I change this, let's say to meals or entertainment, automatically it will populate a tip field, so you can enter in that tip information. You can even enter in an attendee. And for this particular account, we've made the memo or explanation field mandatory. So the employee needs to fill out information pertaining to this type of expense. Again, when it comes into receipts, these are all the different ways to bring in your receipts. You can even use your webcam on your computer or laptop to take pictures of receipts as well. For credit card integration, if you do work with us on a standard implementation and you are linking a credit card, you can do that either from mobile or from the web portion here. And just by clicking on that credit card tab, I have 3 different card sources that are associated to my account. And if I go ahead into my company paid card, these would be all the transactions that I have that I need to associate with my expense report. So really automates the process and gives visibility to finance teams to be able to see credit card transactions that are coming down the pipeline. Employees can even bulk create them, go ahead and categorize them, and just add them to their expense report. Now, what I'll do is start talking about approvals. We have a very flexible workflow approval process. When it comes to the quick start implementation, so that's the quick setup, you do have limited options as far as approval, but you can set up a 2-step approval process if needed. With our standard implementation, you can have very flexible workflow approvals, and we can work with you on what you need. So let's go ahead and submit this through for approval. So the employee, once they're ready to submit it through, can either utilize the Actions tab to go ahead and submit it, or simply just click the Submit button. Now I have a 2-step approval process set up for this account. And when I go ahead and submit it, you'll see it's gone blue. It's no longer editable by the employee. It's gone to Ethel's manager, which in this case, we've named First Approver. So First Approver would have received an email notification letting them know about Ethel's expense report and that it needs to be reviewed and approved. Approvals can fully be done on mobile or on web, depending on the approver and what's easier for them. Now, because I'm an admin of this account, I'm able to go into First Approver's account. So we'll do that for the sake of the demonstration. And if I click on the Approvals tab here, and I go into First Approver's account, we'll see all the items that are sitting in their queue that need to be reviewed and approved, including the expense report that Ethel did on the mobile phone just a few minutes ago. We can go ahead and open up this expense report here. We can take a look at the receipts. Again, we can zoom in and zoom out. We can look at all the items. If we wanted to, we could even create a PDF of the expense report with the receipts or without the receipts in case that's something important to you. Maybe if you need to show this to a client, we can even add in signature lines, and you can see that all the receipts are embedded in that expense report. These are all options that are available to you. You can utilize them if you wish. They're all included in the system. Now, for whatever reason, if first approver wanted to reject a line item or a full report for that matter, there's a rejection comment box that populates here, and you can send your message back to the employee with any notes or changes that might need to be made. It'll reset that expense report back in draft so that Ethel at that point can make any changes to it and then resubmit it through for approval. However, as Ethel's manager or someone on the finance team, if I needed to make a change myself, I didn't want to bottleneck that process, I can go ahead and edit that expense report myself, make the change that's needed if I know what it's related to, and go ahead and then push it through for approval. So we'll push this through for approval. It's going to go to the next person in the approval chain, which is myself, and I would have gotten a notification about that expense report, and it's now sitting in my queue ready to review and approve. I can open up this expense report, can take a look at it, can see things in a summary tab if I want, broken out by category. Maybe I want to look at the receipts and flip back and forth. I can do that as well. For whatever reason, if I wanted to view a history of an item, I can do that as well and view the, complete details about what's happened with this expense report. We even keep a full audit trail, and you can see that I was the one that was acting on behalf of Ethel with times and dates and all the information. If everything looks okay to me, I can go ahead and fully approve this expense report. And when I do that, it disappears from my queue as it's already been actioned. And now Ethel would have received a notification letting her know that her expense report has been fully approved. At this point here, once expense reports have been fully approved, they are ready to be sent into your accounting system. So depending on the accounting system that you're using, we have many integrations. I can work with those, accounting systems. We have web services integrations and also file upload integrations, and we can work with you on that. We have very seamless integration with Intact, with MIP as well, but in addition, work with pretty much any accounting system. Lastly, I'll just mention about our reporting tab here. So any of the data that is in the system can be reported on and can pretty well be sliced and diced in any way. We have a number of standard reports, but you can customize and create reports, and reports are all included as well. If we go ahead and run this report here, just detailed expenses by month, you can see that you can choose your time frame of what you want to see. If you had the concept of customers and projects, you can report against that. Even currencies. So if you wanted to take a look, at travel, and people that are in different countries, what the currency is related to it, you can do that. And then as far as people or departments, and your approval status. So if you wanted to see everything in the system, you can do that. Maybe you want to run a report for the first month of January based on what's been rejected or approved. And then you can go ahead and choose your format, PDF, spreadsheet, or XML, and it'll email you a copy of the report so that you can review it and approve it. As far as expenses, that's pretty much what I wanted to show today. I'm going to pass things back to Kimberly to see if there's any other questions that have come up that I can help with.
Great, thank you, Sandra. So we're going to open it up to questions from you all. So if you have a question for Sandra, submit through the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get that answered. So far, we do not have any questions for you, Sandra, but hopefully people won't be shy and we'll ask something.
Great. And just wanted to also mention, if anyone would like, more than happy to set up a call and we can go through, maybe some of the requirements that you may have and questions, and we can do a more personalized demonstration if anyone is interested.
Great. And we will be having someone from JMT calling you all to see if you would be interested in setting that up or not. Let's see.
Perfect.
Byron, did you have anything that you wanted to say while we wait and see if any questions are coming through?
No, I think Sandra, thank you for doing such a great job. It's always exciting when we can, have another webinar to JMT clients. As Kimberly kind of pointed out, we're a really close-knit family between Nexonia and JMT. We've been partners for, quite a while now, serving a large number of mutual clients. So yeah, thank you for everybody for taking the time out and jumping on today. And hopefully we can at least have one or two of you join the Nexonia and JMT family. So thank you.
All right, I still don't see any questions coming through. We can give it another 30 seconds or so. And then if not, we can wrap it up today.
Sounds great. Thanks everybody for your time today. Appreciate it. And again, if there's questions that even come up in the future, feel free to reach out to JMT and we're more than happy to answer them.
All right, well, thank you all for joining JMT Consulting and Nexonia for this webinar today. And thank you, Sandra, for your time. And we hope you all enjoyed the presentation and liked what you saw. Megan Mendiola from JMT Consulting will be reaching out to you later this week to talk about the demonstration. And we would also love for you to join us for future events and webinars, which you can find listed on our website, jmtconsulting.com, and clicking on the Training and Events tab. This will conclude our webinar today, and I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.